So here's your business class MPV. From the same parent company that brought you MG and Wuling, this is Maxus. And it's got proper captain seats in the middle. Yup, you heard that correct. And this is the Mifa 9. It's got a 90 kilowatt hour battery that's mated to a 180 kilowatt motor. That gives a WLT estimate of about 430 kilometers, but realistically, depending on how you're going to drive it, it'll probably be above 360. But you need to remember about this car is that it weighs over 2 tons, and so it's got high consumption and quite low efficiency compared to other EVs. Under the hood, this car produces 350 newton meters of torque from its motor, which means a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in under 10 seconds, and a top speed of over 150 kilometers per hour. It's got 180 of ground clearance, but the fact is it's got a really long wheelbase, and because of that, clearance is definitely going to be on your mind when you drive this. The boot space is a respectable 488 liters, but when you fold down all the seats, because it's a MPV after all, the boot space, the cargo utility space on this expands to 2,178 liters. So you can move an entire house in this car. Oh, and an added bonus is that, like in most mid-high end EVs, this car actually has a frunk, and it's a very usable 50 liters, so you can put in your tire repair kits, your portable charger, or any other accessories that you might want to take along with your car. This car comes with a CCS Type 2 port, which means the top is for your AC and the bottom is for your DC. And naturally, because this is such a big car, charging times are also going to vary and are going to be quite long. So if you're thinking about actually charging this up with a slow portable granny charger that can only draw in 3.3 kilowatts, then good luck, because this is going to take you 27 full hours. But fortunately, it does accept up to 11 kilowatts of fast AC charging, which will bring it down to just 8.5 hours. So roughly an overnight charge should do the trick. And because this car is built on a proper 400 volt architecture, it can actually gobble up DC speeds of up to 114 kilowatts, meaning a full charge should happen in just about 36 minutes. But you have to be patient because DC charging speeds will vary. Alright, as for the exteriors on this car, it looks like a stormtrooper to me, or a beluga whale. What do you think? Drop a comment down below. And it's got a very high bonnet for an MPV, almost like a SUV stance. It's got very narrow headlights and like DRLs. You've got your parking sensors at the front, and here is all your ADAS sensors, your LiDAR and your other sensors. You do have a AC vent here. It's an electric car. You don't need it, but there is a radiator on the inside to cool down your AC air. Again, strong, bold, intricate cut lines. The front actually has spineless wipers, so it's like a new feature in most cars these days. And then coming on to the front 3/4 profile, which is what I like the most, by the way. Looks very tall, rugged, and like very mean. And then coming down, you have your tires. Naturally, it's a big car, so it's a big tire indeed, with a 235/55 R19s. It's a 19-inch alloy wheel with an aero cap to maximize efficiency. And then you have your automatically folding and opening mirrors, which also can be done by the inside. And then you have, of course, it's an MPV, so it's a very long unibody sort of design. Handlebars are quite big. You have buttons to open an automatic door in the middle. I'll keep it closed for now because we don't need it. But the thing about this car is the back windows are massive, and they're also tinted. It's green tint at the front and black at the back, because at the back you're trying to give more privacy for your passengers, for your clients and guests, whereas the front are green because the green tint keeps out the UV rays, at least, though it doesn't do the same with privacy. And then you have like chrome finishing on the sides. The third seat, by the way, also comes with a window, and it is black tinted. And then here things get interesting at the back, because it's a very tall slanted back. Really reminds me of an SUV design, honestly. if you forelook the long length in the middle, definitely is. And here's where things got interesting. The tail bar actually wraps all around the back and extends down on each sides. Really reminds me of like fangs, if you like think about it. On either side, you have a big Maxus badging. You have your car model badging. You have not one but two cameras. One camera is for your rear view, and one camera is a part of your 360 degree camera. And obviously at the bottom you have more parking sensors. This car is huge, so it's going to need all the parking sensors it's going to require for like tight turns. And the last thing I want to show you about this car is on this side of the vehicle, where you have your charger port, your DC charger port. And this car is actually idiot proof. So if I have this open, your seat actually won't open, like no matter what I do. So when it comes to this car, it's not about the exteriors, it's all about the interiors. You've got two captain seats here, and then you've got a third row with ample room. It's got not one but two sunroofs, one for the front two passengers and the second one for the middle row occupants. Quite cool. Starting with the third row, the second row there is a corridor in the middle where you can come in, and then at the back, me 5'9", I have ample room to even fold my legs. You have two USB ports on each side of the car. You have 3 seat belts at the back, and you have 2 ISOFIX points at the back too. You also get ISOFIX points on these captain chairs, by the way. The seats are well padded and comfy. You have like leather, synthetic leather sort of a clothing with stitching that you can see, which does give it a bit of a elevated premium sort of feel. The seats are very cushy though, like you can definitely sit in this car and just go on for miles and miles at a time of a drive. But what's really fun about this car is the middle seat. This middle seat is where everything's at. So you have your left hand side, which has a touchscreen that when unlocked you can move all your settings. So your seat settings, you do have a footrest for your seat at the bottom when not in use, when your seats don't open, but you can basically move your seats in and out, and then you can definitely extend the chair into a proper armrest sort of almost lounge-like experience at the back seat of a MPV. As for the center, it's just like an airplane. You actually get an entire tray where you can probably sit and work, or you can be out and having some snacks. And then at the back here, you get an entire USB-A and a USB-C. So whatever device you are carrying, this car will fit it. Then you fold it back in. The last thing about this car, I'm putting it back in the normal position, is that you get both ventilation and heating on these captain seats in the middle. So this is where you want to be in this car. All right, the front of the car, where you're going to sit as a driver, is actually the most frugal part of the car. Almost seems empty compared to the rest of the car. You have your key fob here. It does probably come... Your key fob does come with a mechanical key in case this fails, so you should keep that in mind. You have a wireless charger in the middle and 2 decent sized cup holders for your bottles, but they're not the bigger ones here. You have a center armrest that opens up from the middle, and it's quite a deep space to put in a lot of paperwork or even large items. And then you have an under center console's tray here. It'll fit in almost a big purse. You have another cell phone holder here, but this is not a wireless charger. And then you have 2 USB outlets and a cigarette lighter here. One is to connect your phone for Apple CarPlay, which I'll talk about later, and then one is for your just regular phone charging. And as for the car itself, on the right hand side you have your mirror controls for your left and right, and then your mirror angle adjustments. You can also fold in your mirror, you can fold out your mirror, and then you can lock the windows at the back. It's one touch windows, by the way, not just at the front, but for the windows at the back as well. The windows at the back are massive, by the way. And then you have your auto lock, unlock functions on the side, an AC vent. And as for the steering wheel in the middle, that's your horn. It's a pretty large, bulky horn. On the left-hand side, you have your media, your cruise control, your quick nav buttons here, just to go over the menu. And on the right-hand side, you have your media controls. Also, your seat, your steering wheel heating, your phone picking up, off, and just muting buttons and others in general. What I'm really liking about this car is that these touch points, even for the driver, let's face it, if you're buying this car, you're meant to be in the back seat, in the middle seat, on those captain seats. But even for the chauffeur or your driver, whoever's going to be utilizing it, there are enough amenities that they don't feel left out. And by what I mean by that is that everything is reachable for the driver. Your left hand, the stock is condensed with your indicators, your wipers, and your headlights all in one. No hassle, nothing. Your right side is your gear stock. Up for reverse, neutral, D for down and drive, and then a button for park. That's it. There's nothing, no more hassles. Your center console, it's a 10-inch center console and a 7-inch driver's display. Your center console has quick commands for everything. I know it's just more of a center screen without much buttons, but hear me out on this. I'm actually liking it because the main controls of the car, such as your front, your sunroof, they're all just one touch away. You don't have to fumble around. Your auto hold can be engaged here, your parking brake can be engaged or disengaged here, and this car actually comes with memory seats at the front, so that's a good sort of luxurious feature that most cars don't have, by the way. Your car does come with Apple CarPlay that has to be wired from the wire I just showed you, and then you have scenario modes in this car. You have your media control, your AC controls are also right there at the front and super intuitive. Like, you don't again need to fumble around here. As for the center console, you have two large AC vents. Speaking of AC vents on this car, there are tons of AC vents because this is a big 7-seater car. Your roof has AC vents, your sides have AC vents, even the third row at the back has a bit of an AC vent. So wherever you're sitting in the car, you do not need to feel suffocated. And there are also capacitive touch points here to like defrost your front and rear, and then your fan speeds, so you don't have to look around here, your temperature, and these almost really feel like what you get in airplanes. I really like how this feels here. You also have an on and off for your AC, and then a dedicated home button. That's it for buttons at the front. And something that's really nice is also this like really large dashboard. It's like super wide, and then the bonnet stretches really out, but the finishing looks quite okay. Like, you have these different contours at the front, stitching, you have the synthetic leather sort of feeling, you have a mix of a bit of a harder plastic sort of thing, but again, it's not hard plastics all the way until out here. And then this chrome silver lining also feels quite well put together. And on the passenger side, you also get electrically adjustable seats, just like on the driver's seat. Speaking of which, on the driver's seat, you can actually adjust your steering wheel up and down, but also in and out. So depending on whatever your driver's preference is, it's good to go. And the last thing that I wanted to show you is a pretty large and long size glove box at the front. Also, you have massive cup holders on the sides of each door, which will fit not just one or two, but like multiple water bottles. Alright, and as for driving this car, it is super smooth. Like, you get the best of both worlds when it comes to the utility and luxury of this MPV, but also the quick, zippy overtakes that this 350 Newton meter producing motor provides. 180 kilowatts, you put your foot down even in eco mode and you're away. And as for visibility, the good thing is that your seating position, the driver's seat, is at least adjustable to be high enough you can see the bonnets at the front. But because it's such a long car, you're going to really have to pay attention to your side mirrors, because you definitely don't want to take this car to narrow roads. It's going to be a bit of a hassle, even if you are the most professional of drivers. This car does provide 3 different modes of regeneration that can be toggled through the center console. And this car also provides a sport, a normal, and an eco mode for driving. And personally speaking, I think eco mode is more than enough. It provides that quick zippy overtake you need for city. It's got enough power retention, and it's got that instant torque you're all used to in actually mid-size small EVs too. Like here, it's a bit of a difficulty thing because you have to maneuver around from this long vehicle, but other than that, it's fine. The disc brakes, surprisingly, for a 2-ton car, works phenomenally well. Like, you really don't have any sort of complaints. And the regeneration braking, at least to me, feels okay. It is a bit hard on the highest level, but you can always tone it down on this. And what's most surprising to me about this car is this car's weight. Like, it's a massive 2-ton car, like, you can't forget that, but it drives as if it's just your city hatchback. Honestly, you have very nimble, light steering wheel controls. Your gears are instant torque, so you really don't feel like this is a heavy, sluggish car that you would have otherwise felt in ICE minivans like the Toyota Hiace. There's just nothing to worry about. Foot down, and even if it's a big car, you do actually have enough acceleration on this that you get pushed back into your seat, which again, really did not expect. And on the whole, this car provides tons of amenities. It's got good, decent range for like intercity travel from one to the other. If I top it off to 100, it will most likely reach your next destination of 200 to 300 kilometers easily with AC, occupants, whatever. And the driving is quite comfortable. Even the suspension might be on the stiffer recoil side, but that first initial damp on this is like really smooth. So whether you're a front occupant or a back occupant or middle, no questions asked. You're very much cocooned in like a cabin of luxury. And if you want to know more about this car or come and check out this car to buy it for yourself, give me a contact. This car actually is on for sale. So drop a comment down below and let me know what you thought about this car. I'll see you on the next one.